Hello, it's Nikki and welcome to part 10. You made it. Congratulations. Thank you so much for being here as always. This is one of my favorite topics. And also this is one of the topics that has been ever changing. And it has always been a work in progress, which is vision. And this word of vision is something that needs to be checked in with, I would almost say daily. I mean, I'm not going to say hourly because it's very important to be in the moment. And sometimes you might be loading the dishwasher and doing the things that you've got to do, or taking care of somebody, or actually doing the job that you are doing in hand. And we've all been to those situations where you know there's always somebody looking over your shoulder trying to find like the next exciting person to talk to. So I want to maintain this sense of presence, but also vision. But the first thing I want to say about vision is that the more detailed you can get, the more time and energy and commitment you spend working on your vision, the easier and the more focused everything else is going to be. And this is why I suggest that you check in regularly. Now, I know some people would have these morning routines where they have a set time, like they've got to journal for 30 minutes before they do anything else. And I really adore and admire those people who can be that disciplined and they need a framework and they stick to it and they do it day in, day out. I've learned over the last 7 years since becoming a parent that sometimes my mornings, even though I love to have a morning situation for myself, sometimes it's just not possible. Matt, my partner, has just come back after being away for a fortnight. So I've been at home on my own with the children. And I know hundreds of parents, thousands of parents are doing this all of the time. But when you are the sole carer for your children at that time, your morning routine tends to move out the way if somebody needs breakfast or somebody has lost something or whatever it might be. We all have adult responsibilities. And so one thing that I've learned about spending time with this vision is to work with what I have right now. And sometimes that is giving me a moment where I say, right, on the school run today, so on a Monday and Thursday, for example, I drop both of the children off. They go to school and nursery, and then I have that walk home, which is about 10-15 minutes. And sometimes I will set myself the task of saying, what do I want to think about today? What do I want to figure out today? Where do I want to spend some time today? And spending some time in that vision will work brilliantly with the time that I have available. So instead of using all that energy and saying, oh gosh, I should have done this, and my morning routine was messed up, or whatever it might be, I take the pockets of time that I have available. The second thing I want to talk about is with visioning, that there is some science stuff which you can look up yourself, that when you are visualizing, your brain knows no different to you actually doing it. So if you imagine a long journey that you have to do, or if you're giving somebody directions to a place that you know very, very well, you might go through that in your head of like, okay, yeah, go out the front door, turn left, cross over the road, go round the corner, you'll pass Tesco on your, whatever it might be. You can go through that. And some scientists have discovered that your brain is working in the same way if you are actually doing the journey or if you're just talking about it and visualizing it in your head. And this is really, really fascinating. So when I do this visioning, when I think about things, and you will have heard me if you've worked with me one-on-one, where I ask clients to turn up the brightness. Turn up that brightness so you can see everything that you need to see. So for example, when I was thinking about this home, when I was thinking about where things would want to go, and we were waiting for that moment when we knew that it was going to be ours, I walked up and down this street so many times. And if I had an opportunity to pass it, I absolutely would. And I would walk past it at different times of day. I would vision myself going, I wonder where I'd been that day if I got off the bus and then I walked this way. And how would it feel walking into that front door? And what would be the light that would be happening in the room? Oh, okay, interesting. The sun sets then at this time. And I really became familiar with it. And so whatever your vision is, spend some time with it with that brightness turned up. The third thing, you have to make a vision. You have to connect with a vision that is solely yours. And to pay attention when something is an absolute yes and an absolute no. So there was definitely a conversation around girl bosses at the time when I was qualifying as a coach, where people were talking about perfectly matched stationery or walk-in wardrobes or first-class travel and, designer handbags. It was that very sort of polished, girly sort of vibe. And lots of those things, of course, I like. But there were also some things that I wanted to bring in my vision that probably nobody would ever know about. Nobody would ever be interested in, or I couldn't actually take a photo of it, for example. So one of the things was that I wanted to wake up in the morning and feel rested. Not even like full of energy, ready to go, no stress, but to have that sense in my body. It almost feeling like, when you wake up in the morning and it still feels like your gut still hasn't, I don't want to go into any kind of toilet stuff, but when it's like it feels like your body hasn't finished its cycle and you're like, oh gosh, I need to go back to sleep for a couple of hours. I'm not done yet here. Versus that moment where you wake up in the morning and you just feel grounded. You feel in your body. You can think clearly. You're excited about the day. You're ready to rock and roll. That's how I wanted to feel. And so this version of your vision must be really clear to you. And if it isn't, it's an invitation to yourself to ask more questions. Because also, how do you know what you're moving towards if you don't know what that thing is? If you don't know whether you're there yet or not, or what you therefore need to do. Another thing I want to say about vision is you have to be careful about who you share it with. And not everything has to be documented. Not everything has to be spoken about. You don't have to wear your heart on your sleeve. You can keep some things to yourself and then reveal them later. And sometimes people won't like that. Like, oh my God, I didn't even know that you were going to do that. Like, where did that come from? Cool. They're probably not your people. But equally, really being protective of your vision is really important. Another thing I want to say is give yourself full permission to expand your vision. I remember when I first qualified from coaching school, as it were, and somebody was making £150 per hour. I could not believe it, coaching somebody. And that just blew my mind. Like, what? If I could get that would be amazing. And I now know from building a relationship with money, from building a personal brand, from a lot of hard work, because let's be honest, like, I know people want to say, because I manifested it, I put in the work as well. I did all the actions. That goes without saying as well. And what I've realized is there's always more. That thing of like, if you want to learn something, find somebody who's already done it, or there'll be somebody out there who knows the answer that you're looking for. I'm a huge believer in that. But you have to be willing to open up your own vision and your own point of reference to find different things and different people doing different things. because it will absolutely blow your mind what is possible and what people are doing out there, and doing it in a way that would probably resonate with you. Of course, there might be some people that don't. Great, they're not your people. You don't have to be in that zone at all. The final thing that I want to say is your vision is ever changing. And what I mean by that is sometimes it's really, really loud and you're in that moment. And I use yoga a lot. Like sometimes you're in that warrior two, or in that fiery kind of big lunge where you're taking up space and you're like, wow, let's go. This is the vision. Yeah, I'm heading towards it. And sometimes equally, you're lying on the floor. You're in that very quiet vision. You're still connected to it, but it's a different kind of energy. And neither one of those is correct necessarily, or like the overriding one. And both are equally as important. So give yourselves that big time to do action, to keep moving forward, to be in alignment, to do the stuff you've got to do. But also be in that place where you can let it soak in. The yoga teacher that I went to this morning, she always talks about taking another breath, take another sip in. And that was I love that phrase, like take another sip in. Take another sip in of what that vision is for you. And feel what that feels like. And if you don't go right into your belly when you take that deep breath in and you see it, go a bit deeper. Allow that expansion for yourself. That is where the magic is, my friend. That's it for today. Thank you so, so much for being with me through this 10-part series. I'm going to go into a bit more around what's been happening in my business and some of the breakthroughs that I've had and where I knew where I needed to go next. So I can't wait to share more with you on that. That is coming this week. And if you've liked this episode and this series, please rate, review, subscribe, all that beautiful good stuff. It really helps to spread the word on the podcast. And please know, wherever you're at, I am cheering you on every step of the way. And even if you have no idea what you're trying to do yet, or what you're going to do yet, know that there will be a way. There will be a way to move tiny, tiny steps and shuffle into it. Again, people think we do these sort of big bunny hops into our dream life. Sometimes it's a whisper. Sometimes it's a shuffle. Sometimes it's a deep breath. Sometimes it's taking a second look at something. And slowly but surely you will get there. So I'm delighted to hear what you're doing and what's been happening. I cannot wait for that. Thank you as always for being with me. And if you do want to book some time with me, I am doing face-to-face sessions now. So do find out about one of those. I work all across London, or you can come to me in North London, entirely up to you. But get in touch with the next availability, nikkiraby.com/sessions. I'm sending lots of love and I'll speak to you soon.